It was back in 2013 when a girl came to our school, and the moment when me and my friends saw her, it was almost as if an angel just came walking towards us in broad daylight. And the first thing that I said to my friends was that that is my girl. It's not up for negotiation. And this wasn't to say that I then went to approach her and ask her out, but it was just an atmosphere that was built from there. And then from that day onwards, it was always a thing of whenever that girl would show up, my friends and I would have that attitude that it's almost as if we are already in a relationship. Now let's call this girl Lisa. She has a friend and we'll call her Mandy. And fast forward a few years, she had a best friend and we'll call her Bianca. So fast forward a few years, in 2016, towards the end of the year, I summoned the courage to say that, you know what, let me talk to Mandy about how I feel about a friend. And then Mandy did actually communicate that. And it seemed as if she was interested in me as well. But purely because I didn't go there to talk to her myself, it was almost a thing of she didn't necessarily take that thing seriously. So as time unfolded, it was almost a thing of I would communicate with Lisa through Mandy, right? And as time went on and we jumped to 2017, where I thought, you know what, let me just actually make things official and go talk to this girl, I observed that she was now starting to talk to this other giant in class. And that was a punch to my gut because it almost communicated the message that I wasn't enough as a gent. And I decided to talk to Mandy about this and said, you know what, tell Lisa that whatever it is that she's doing, I don't appreciate it. But it just so happened that Mandy had a secret crush on me, and instead of communicating to Lisa that I don't like what she's doing with the other gent, she actually went there and said that, you know what, Young no longer wants you. And I didn't know of that because in my mind, Lisa now knows that I do not like it when she talks to other gents. So I went to talk to Lisa this one time, and she was dismissive because why would I be talking to her if I no longer want her? Right? And that left me confused. But then, fast forward a few days, I decided that, you know what, let me go for Bianca. Bianca, who is the best friend of Lisa. I don't know what got to me, but yeah, I did it. Or we could actually add some uh, peer influence or something like that, but I went for Bianca. And still, I hadn't necessarily had that thing in me to say that, you know what, I'm going to approach this girl and talk to her. It was back in the days where love letters were popular. So, being me and as creative as I am, I decided that, you know what, let me just scribe something down and get it and get my friend to give it to Bianca. And funny enough, Bianca showed Lisa the letter and then responded to my friend to say that, you know what, if he wants me, he should come and talk to me. And that just did something to me because after that, I had to summon the courage to go and talk to this girl. So I told my friend that, you know what, tell her that I will come meet you guys after school. So my friend and Bianca almost lived in the same neighborhood. So I had to now change after school and go after them. And so the adventure went on, you know, and I actually did say my heart out. And mind you, this is back in 2017. So I was acting not necessarily out of wisdom, but out of the pressure that this girl would think I'm a weakling if I don't go there and talk to her. So I went there, did my thing, and yeah, I was successful. After that, things were chill. I didn't necessarily mind that much about Lisa. And over time, it was a thing of it would slowly fade away. And then in 2018, Bianca decided to date a close relative of mine. Crazy enough, right? And to my surprise, personally, it didn't necessarily do that much harm to me because I didn't really have that much of an issue with her dating my relative. So I just accepted the fact and moved on. And me moving on was now me jumping back to Lisa. And once again, being crafty, I managed to win Lisa again. And this pattern that I'm discussing right now is just how I operated in terms of relationships from the year 2017. I was still young back then, but because of, let's say, maybe peer pressure or I don't know, curiosity, I ended up exposing myself in the field on that time. I know that for some, they get there early, and then for others, it's later in life, but that's how it unfolded for me. And every time I went to a relationship, I would always go at it with the attitude that I'm dating you in order to marry you in the near future. And that meant that I always strive to present my best self, right? And also at the same time, that meant that I was always paying attention to what my partner would do. If I would pick up any sign of disinterest from them, I wouldn't mind terminating the relationship there and then. And so from those from that experience from 2016 to 2018, it was almost always a thing of I wouldn't be single for more than a month or so. So it was always this relationship after the next. And if it wasn't a new girl, it was just me alternating between the girls. And not that I was necessarily a player type of person, but this is just how it happened. And also I could factor in peer influence or just something of that nature, because I would sometimes communicate with my cousins as to what was happening, and they would just say, you know what, it seems as if you're still interested in the person. Why don't you just go back and talk to them? Or we think that that person is still interested in you. Why don't you just give them a second chance and give them a world? I remember this one time I was in a relationship, committed relationship, mind you, and everything was working out perfectly. And there was this one girl that I had once dated. And so as she saw that, you know what, Young is doing fine in that relationship, and it's almost as if that guy has completely moved on. She then crippled back into my life. And, she was just communicating that I still want you. And, if you're willing, we could just start even now, like rebuild whatever it is that we had, And over time, that planted this seed in me that my partner is now doing, my current partner back then was doing something funny that I didn't like. So I had to now start fishing for things that she hadn't necessarily done, or even if she had done, when things that would qualify to terminate the relationship, right? I remember this one time something had happened, and the friends of the girl that I was with told her that, you know what, just go and hug him to show a sign of appreciation or acknowledgement for something that had happened. And in my head, it was a thing of, you had to be told that you have to hug me, but then there's someone who's crying, who's texting me nonstop to be with me. And then from there, my mind registered that, you know what, she doesn't appreciate me enough. And because of that, I'm going to leave her and be with the other girl who is texting me nonstop. It didn't take a week for me to transition from my current relationship to the next one, because it almost as if it was already there. It was just the thing of, it was waiting for something to happen. So after that week, it was public. Everyone would now see that, okay, Young moved on from this girl to this girl, of which he had dated like in the past, for those who knew me. I didn't necessarily feel that much of guilt, because I was telling myself that, you know what, I am just respecting myself, because this person doesn't necessarily appreciate me that much. And that girl that I had dated before seemed to be appreciating me, because she was always texting me nonstop and telling me all those things. And so that's how it went. And overall, that's just how I would navigate relationships in the past. It wasn't until about recently where I got into a relationship after having told myself that I'm no longer going to be in a relationship, because based off of my observation, it seemed as if people are no longer authentic. People are just doing funny things, being in a relationship just for the sake of being in a relationship. And this relationship changed me drastically, right? And to just give you a quick overview of my relationship, I went into the relationship thinking to myself that, you know what, I'm going to show this person that true love exists. Because at the back of my head, it was the thing of people no longer know the meaning of true love. So, you know what, let me show this person that that thing actually does exist. And it was also influenced by the fact that she was telling me that she didn't necessarily experience that in her past relationships. So I was like, you know what, Dr. Fixer is in the house. Fret not, my lady, I'm here for you. Things went smoothly, epically. Things were just great, right? And we had complications here and there as time unfolded. And yeah, but then I told myself that, you know what, it's not something that we cannot overcome, because I was fully invested. And I also believed that she was invested. Hence I didn't mind to withhold my habit of terminating things at the slightest sign of something not meeting my standards. Little did I know that me doing that is just something that was chipping away of the value of the relationship, because it meant that I would excuse things that didn't necessarily deserve to be excused. In as much as I was upholding my standards and all those things, challenging the lady in every facet, there was this something that was decreasing in value over time, because I went there with the idea that, you know what, let me show this person that true love exists. So if she did something funny, I would say, you know what, maybe it's because she didn't necessarily get the chance to be with someone who treated her well, right? Well, fast forward a few months, the relationship ended. And since then, I just decided that, you know what, let me pause and just go over what happened. You know, where did I make mistakes? Why is it that such a relationship had to end? Because I didn't necessarily think that that's what was going to happen, but then it had to end. And funny enough, I'm the one who ended it. The reason behind that, let's just leave it for now. But yeah, it's been one crazy adventure. And sitting down looking at it right now, it's a thing of, you know what, yeah, I'm grateful I had that experience. I'm grateful I went over that heartbreak, because it taught me a lot of things about myself that I wouldn't have necessarily known had I still been with her. And not to say that the relationship wasn't worth it or something like that, but just reflecting over it, right? And being single for almost a year, I can say that that period of singleness, that period where it's just you and yourself, is something that's needed. And it's something that most of us are shying away from, right? And I'm saying this because in today's day and age, it's almost as if each and every relationship that is out there is built off of projection, right? Me being in that relationship was a thing of I was there to show her that, you know what, I can be your safety net. I can be that reliable guy. And in my head, I thought to myself that, you know what, in as much as there is no one who is perfect, in as much as the women that I'm seeing around are inauthentic, people are doing funny things, she is the exception. So I took this perfect idea of a lady and I placed her in it. So it meant that I had projected that perfect thing about her. And to some degree, we can say that she viewed me as a safety net, as someone who's going to be reliable. So that meant that to some degree, she had issues that she hadn't resolved that she brought to the relationship. And I also had my things of assuming or painting this idea of a perfect girl upon her. And now that I've been single for this much of a period, I had the chance to just talk to myself and say, you know what exactly has been happening? Where did things go wrong? And it dawned on me that that there are parts of myself that I need to work on, right? And I'm grateful that I was intentional about being single. I'm grateful that I actually sat down and said, you know what, let me work on myself in order to ensure that the next time I get into a relationship, I'm in one piece. I'm complete. I am the me that I used to be. And yeah, I guess I can say I'm better than what I used to be because right now, this is an improved version of myself. And so, the point that I'm trying to drive home here from sharing with you guys my experience, how I went from the player type of guy to being this guy who has been single for almost a year, is that it's not always that you have to be in a relationship. And to put it straight to you, if you're in a relationship just because you don't want to be lonely, just because your friends have girlfriends, just because the norm says you have to be in a relationship in order to feel worthy of yourself, then just know that, brother, you are in the wrong route. Because it all starts with you. There's this saying that if you don't love yourself, then there is no way you're going to love others, right? So I just want to implore you, brother, that before you step into a relationship, make sure that you as a man are complete. Make sure that you are whole. Because that will mean that whenever someone pulls funny stance on you, you are going to raise it up. And there's going to be no negotiations about it. It's either that person steps up or you drop them.